Okay, so now we are going to practice applying hand-worked running stitches. So a running stitch can be used in garment construction for a plethora of reasons. So you can use your running stitch to apply easing, to apply gathering, or as a way to secure a seam where there is little to no strain. So we are going to use this stitch in this capacity. Let's think of it for seam construction, okay? So a running stitch, it does look like basting, but it's different than basting. It is a smaller stitch length and it's consistent, all right? And to have a running stitch for seam construction, you need to ensure that your spacing is not large, okay? It'll make your garment more secure. So your running stitches should not be any larger. Waiting for the camera to focus. Very good. Any larger than 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So we have here some marked measurements. Now you have these pretty small. They are a little bigger than 1/8 of an inch, just for practice purposes. If you can make them between 1/8 and 1/4 and keep the stitch length consistent, that would be accurate. So we're going to start on the wrong side. I'm going to drag my needle down until I get to my line. And I'm going to use the marking on my tape as a guide. So I'm going to take a stitch and I'm going to come up using my tape as a guide. Now, that's my first stitch. You have to pull your thread so it's nice and smooth. Now, if you want to make your stitches happen faster, then you can make more than one. So I'm going to take a stitch. I'm going to come up. I'm going to go in again. Come up again. Go as many as you can. The length of your needle is going to determine how much stitches you can do this movement with. And make sure it doesn't gather and pucker. So right now we don't want gathering. We just want it to be a replacement for a machine work stitch. So these stitches in this row are smaller than the first row. And keep up that pattern. When you're done, you will remove your tape, and then you'll have a neat row of running stitches. Now I start off my stitch with a knot. You can start off with 2 back stitches. I can do that right here to end it for you. So you can take a stitch, a small stitch, and I'm going to go over this exact same stitch again. This will lock my stitch row in place, so it will not become undone. And you cut your thread at the back of the fabric. And there you have a running stitch.